5 months ago, I decided to drop out of high school, even though I have had 5 months left to get my diploma. How did it all begin? So it all started in 2020, COVID and the lockdown. So the lockdown gave a lot of people the opportunity to essentially regain their time and try out new things. And for me, it really gave me the opportunity to try out a lot of the things that I really was curious about, but because of school, didn't really have the time to start. A few of the things were programming. I did a lot of 3D modeling. I did, game design. Tried out a lot of different things, but the one that lasted longest was learning how to use Photoshop to create unique and interesting art pieces. And that eventually turned into me selling my NFTs. In 2021, at the peak of the NFT, like crazy market where people were buying essentially pictures of monkeys for, 250K. And I was able to sell 2 NFTs. Later, I then started to trade NFTs where I made actually a substantial amount of money. I made around $100,000 and very shortly after lost everything. I lost everything, and that taught me a very valuable lesson. It taught me that when you're losing, there is such a thing as cutting your losses. And it also taught me that, money is real and it can be taken away. It sounds stupid, but when I had that much money, it was just a number to me and I didn't really see it as real. So yeah, take out your money and cut your losses. Those were the 2 biggest lessons I learned. But essentially, COVID was a really important phase, and COVID was the starting point of a lot of things for me, and the biggest was confidence. It gave me the confidence to go out and learn by myself. It gave me the confidence that I could teach myself things I wanted to learn without university or without school, without someone telling me what to do. And that changed my life, because all the successes and all the failures that I had as well, thereafter were in some shape or form derived from me having the confidence to just go out and try something new without anyone guiding me through it. Now with ChatGPT, it's even easier. So yeah, that was the beginning. Shortly after, school started again, but I went through a really tough time with my dad and essentially disconnecting and taking responsibility for my life and for the really tough financial situation which my mom was going through. So to explain a bit more, growing up, I had a really, really good relationship with my dad. He was my role model, and he instilled a lot of things that make me who I am today. My ambition, my drive, really core parts of who I am today are thanks to him. But what was really tough was essentially realizing that my dad was the opposite of everything that he had taught me to be. And the day that I disconnected from him was the day that I tried to reignite essentially the fight within him, and that he gave up. He did not want to fight anymore and told me to, fuck off, essentially. And that day was really, really important, because from that day forward, I really took another level of responsibility, not only for my life and the success that I wanted, but also to help the people that I loved and to help my mom, who was in a really tough situation with my dad and financially. So After that whole, situation, that whole unraveling, came the summer vacation in 2023, which was right under a year ago. Right after having this whole realization about me needing to take more responsibility and, taking control of my life, I entered summer and I gave myself the objective to work every single day towards building a business or building a source of revenue which I could keep and which would generate revenue whilst I was still in school, so that I could help my family and just get a sense of security on what I wanted to do, and also get the confidence that I could do it. So for the next 2 months, without a single break, without going on vacation, without stopping, every single day I would wake up, go to the gym, come back home and just work like a madman. And towards the end of the vacation, I had nothing, essentially. There was nothing there except for the lessons that I had learned. I had learned so much. And at the end, I had this store, this fashion store, e-com store on Shopify, which I had built and was not like generating any revenue at all, but was like barely surviving and generating a bit of money. And coincidentally and ironically, very close to the beginning of the school year, traction started to pick up on the store and the revenue was just growing. So much so that we grew into making $5,000 in revenue a day. So $150,000 in revenue a month, and I had about 50% margins. So it went to a point where I was making a teacher's salary in a day whilst sitting in a class where that teacher was telling me that I had to, absolutely go to university and study, and it was crazy. But then everything changed. Everything stopped and everything broke down because my store got shut down. Why? Because I had done everything wrong and I did not know what the hell I was doing. To tell you at what point I was running this business, generating $150,000 a month without a business bank account, without having it registered, nothing. Which obviously led to it being shut down because there were just way too many red flags. And so the business got shut down, which was really tough and put me in a situation where I was like, everything that I've built, all the confidence about where I was going and how I was going to, keep making money to sustain myself, but also help my mom if needed, all that confidence was gone. And I didn't know what I was going to do. But on top of that, very shortly after, in a matter of weeks, a massive event happened, which then led me to stop school and drop out, which was that I had to kick my dad out of our home, the apartment with which I live in with my mom and my siblings, because we caught him cheating on my mom. And as I said, my dad was not just not ambitious anymore, he was mistreating my mom, and he was literally sitting on the couch every day being a bum and just dragging us all down. So right after that whole event, the family was in a really tough situation where everyone was vulnerable, especially my mom. And I just felt like, sure, I could continue to go to high school, but there were battles that needed to be won now, and I couldn't live with myself continuing to go to high school and not giving every single piece of myself to the battles that I knew needed to be won now. And so, yeah, I decided to drop out and never looked back since. So yeah, that was 5 months ago, 4 to 5 months ago, and ever since, a lot has happened. I've been rebuilding the store, which got shut down, learning a lot, fixing the issues which eventually got me shut down, i.e., bank accounts, registered business, and also I'm not building on Shopify anymore, I'm building on WooCommerce because I don't like the fact that someone can control whether or not my store gets shut down or not. Shopify is centralized, by the way. So yeah, they control whether or not you can sell. My mom and I, we went to China. I set up my company in Dubai, and yeah, I also figured out that I wanted to move to China in September, and I think the biggest part was also realizing that I wanted to start brands. So, I'm starting my personal brand now, and also starting some physical brands, a bathing suit brand with my sister, and a fashion brand with my co-founder in Switzerland. So yeah, there are lots of things I'm working on and looking forward to building. I think